Rassie, Rasmus and Jacques Nienaber have revealed some of their secrets about how they confused the French before the World Cup quarterfinal and ultimately went on to win the Rugby World Cup. So in today's video, we're going to discuss some of those secrets that they leaked and how they beat that French team. But before we do that, about 93% of you who watch this channel on a regular basis are not subscribed. So I'm going to kindly ask that you please hit that subscribe button. It helps us make the videos better, and my goal is to get that down to 50%. Alright, so normally leading into a test match or any rugby game, teams normally release their starting lineup about 48 hours before kickoff. But since the 2019 World Cup, the Springboks have started releasing their team sheet, their starting lineup about 4 days before kickoff. They did that in the 2019 World Cup and through the test matches leading in to the French game in 2023. Rassie and Jacques Nienaber said that they did this because they had already selected the sides and they just wanted to get it out there to avoid some speculation, stop speculation from who would start for the Springboks in a given test match. However, before the French game and the quarter-final, Rassie, Rasmus and Jacques Nienaber decided to release their team sheet, their starting lineup, only 48 hours before kickoff. So not the 4 days that they normally did. Now it was just 2 days before kickoff, and there was a couple reasons that they did this. They knew that to beat France in France, they're going to have to try and confuse them and get any small edge they can. Also, France have a massive coaching and analysts team. They have 14 analysts that work for the French side. So if you put your team out 4 days before, it gives them a whole lot more time to go through each player's profile and to really try and find the weakness in that South African side. So that was the first reason they only released it 48 hours before kickoff, was so that the 14 analysts that the French side didn't have enough time to sort of analyze and do proper research on the starting lineup of the Springboks. Now, the Springboks didn't only do that to try and confuse France. They did a couple more things. The one is that they played a 5-3 split in that game. Now, the Springboks are known for innovating the bomb squad, the 6-2 splits, and then in this 2023 Rugby World Cup, they innovated the nuke squad, which was a 7-1 split, 7 forwards and 1 backline player on the bench. But they came into this game with a 5-3 split, given the fact that France have massive forwards, very powerful pack, which I think threw France off just that little bit extra that they needed. It also makes the 22 scrum call that Damian Willemse did off the mark that more impressive, because South Africa knew that the France forwards weren't as fit as their forwards. They didn't have the bomb squad or the nuke squad on the bench. They did it with a 5-3 split, and to have that much confidence in your forward pack and your scrum just kind of says something about how well drilled and trained that Springbok side is. But that's not all that the Springboks did to try and confuse this French side. There was a lot of speculation to whether Handré Pollard or Manie Libbok would start that game. They ended up going with Manie Libbok. A lot of people thought Pollard was going to start. Manie started, Pollard came on. They also didn't start Faf de Klerk in that game. They started Kobus Reinach. Faf was on the bench, and they also had Lukhanyo in the squad available for selection because Mapimpi got injured a couple games before that. So were they going to play Lukhanyo or Jesse Kriel? Adding on to this, it gets a lot deeper. They played 6 different sides in the lead up to that French game, starting all the way back with the Wales, Argentina, and New Zealand test matches before the Rugby World Cup. The team that beat New Zealand away to New Zealand just before the Rugby World Cup was a completely different side that played against France. They also played 4 different scrum halves in a game leading up to this French side. They had 4 different fly halves throughout the World Cup. Manie, Handré Pollard, Damian Willemse started a game. Faf came off the bench and started at fly-off. You had inside centers playing in a fullback position. You had fullbacks playing at inside centers. You had flanks playing in a hooker position. You had locks playing as flanks. So they did all of this in the build-up to this quarterfinal to confuse the French side. Rassie, Rasmus and Jacques Nienaber knew the coaching staff and the analysis team that this French side had. So if they could throw smoke bombs, as many smoke bombs as they could, it was going to confuse the French side, and they weren't going to be able to nail down exactly who was going to start in that quarterfinal, and therefore they wouldn't have been able to come up with an exact game plan for the Springbok side. Then you add the extra lengths that the Springbok side went to for this quarterfinal quarterfinal, playing this French national anthem during training, playing those video games which ultimately sprung up the purple move which they used in the game against France. They trained indoors so no footage could be taken of them outdoors and then leaked to the French side. All these little bits of information, these extra miles that the Springbok side go to, is why they eventually won the World Cup. The more I watch Chasing the Sun, the more I read about the Springboks, the more headlines that come out, the more respect I have for the entire group that is the Springbok team, from the coaching staff to the medical to the players. They just go that little extra mile for every single game, which is why they've won back-to-back World Cups. And you just can't help but think Rassie, Rasmus and that coaching staff are absolute geniuses, thinking years and months before the World Cup on how it could potentially pan out, how they're going to try and confuse and throw smoke bombs, and who they're going to play, what they're going to do. There's just so much that goes into these games, and it's just such a beautiful thing to watch from the outside. So those are the secrets that Rassie, Rasmus and Jacques Nienaber have given us into the French game. I cannot wait to see what happens in the England and New Zealand game. As always, let me know your guys' comments down in the comments section. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave this video a like, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy. Peace.